crafters, and welcome to Creative Moments by G. I'm Georgia, and today we're going to make two beautiful cards using a fantastic die set. So let's head down to the crafting table so I can show you what die set we're going to use. We are going to be using these dies. Are they not beautiful? And it comes from the split card texture die set. These go in the corner of your card. And what makes these so special is you can actually turn these into stencils. That's right. This is a double duty die set. Use it as a die or use it as stencils. Now we have another video that I'll link above, so check that out, and it shows how to turn this into stencils. But I want to show you, we used this one to create a mat for the front of our card. Now we've decided to go ahead and create a Christmas card with this one. So let me show you the stamp sets we're going to use. We are using Leaves of Holly and the Very Best Occasion for this adorable little sentiment. Now for the base of our card, we simply took some white cardstock and we cut it 8.5 by 5.5 and we scored it at 4 1/4. So let me show you the designer series paper that we selected. Now all these supplies and materials will be listed below the video, so anything you see that you want to pick up, you can go ahead and do that. We love this DSP. It has those beautiful little stars in it. So let's go ahead and get this laid down. Now I'm just going to bring in a silicone mat so that in case I get any glue anywhere, this allows me just to rub it off. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm just going to put some glue on the back of this mat. And you really don't have to worry about getting it on these little bitty lines right here in the cutout, because it really kind of looks nice if it comes up just a little bit. So I wouldn't worry, just maybe put a few little dots. And now we're going to lay this down. Make sure that the DSP doesn't come outside this mat at all, because this is going to be laid on the front of your card. And this is just creating a beautiful Christmas card with that die. Don't you love that? Let me show you how pretty that is. Now what we've done is we have simply used that stamp set and we cut out these leaves. And we were wondering, my goodness, these are big leaves, but you know, they go perfectly on the front of this card. And I'm going to show you how to place them. Go ahead and lay this mat down right on the front of your card. And you will have a border because we cut this mat 4 by 5 1/4. We're going to take these cutouts and we'll be placing them about right there. We actually have some little sprigs as well. But before we do that, we want to make sure that we have our sentiment stamped exactly where it needs to be. So let's bring in that sentiment and let's just ink it up with some memento. This gives us a guide as to how far we can come down with our leaves, because we need to stay above that sentiment. So let's go ahead and use a little bit of glue to attach those to the front of our card, and I'm just going to put it right on the corner of this leaf and maybe not even go down all the way. So it kind of is raised just a little bit. Okay. Do the same to the other leaf. Now we're just going to add our little sprigs, and we decided to cut them in old olive so we don't have the same color as the leaves, just to give it some more interest. Okay, we're going to set this to the side because we need to stamp our cherries. And so we're bringing in that two-step process. We love this stamp set. It does all the hard work for us. First, we're going to stamp the base of the cherries in real red. And then we're going to come in with the shading. And on the shading, we're going to use Cherry Cobbler. And look at the shading that it does for you. Is that beautiful? Now we're just going to get those cut out, and we will be adding those to the front of our card using some dimensionals. So you just need to decide how you want to turn your cherries. And there we have the front of our card. This die just really adds to the beauty of your card. And you can see how easy that was to create. But we're not through because we want to put a mat on the inside. And the reason we do that is because this is very flimsy. And so we go ahead and we just cut a mat and we put that on the inside of our card. And there we have our first card using these split card textured dies. Now this is a 2-pack, so now we're going to bring in a card that uses the other die set. So this card, we're going to use the Apple Harvest stamp set with it. We're going to be coloring the apples with our light real red and our Cherry Cobbler. And also our greens, we're going to use Old and Light Olive. We're also going to use our light soft suede for our branches. So let me show you the card that we're going to put together. We simply took a Cherry Cobbler and we cut it 8.5 by 5.5, scored it 4 1/4 for our base card. And then we took a mat and we used that beautiful die to cut into the mat because we are going to just glue this right down to the front of our card. Look how beautiful that looks. Then we will be stamping a message right here. So why don't we go ahead and stamp our message first. Look at how pretty that looks. And this gives us a guide because we are going to color some apples to put right on the front. Let's go ahead and get that laid down on the front of our card. This die set is a must to purchase because you can see how it takes your card to the next level with very little effort. And that's what we like. We like to keep it simple sometimes, make quick cards, but that just are so beautiful. So let's lay this to the side, and now let's bring in our stamped apple. Now you can see that I have it colored partly, but I'm going to go ahead and finish the leaves to show you how to color those as well as the apples. These apples turn out so realistic when you use the Cherry Cobbler and the light real red. Now I always start with the brush nib and I just use the guide where they have already shadowed it. I just turn my paper and I simply just go over that area that they have already told me should have the shading for the apple. Now I'm going to go ahead and pick up this one as well. And this little area down there. And now we're going to come in with the real red and we are going to highlight our apple. So we are going to use the smaller end of this blend to go ahead and color. Now to make sure that the dark and the light transition smoothly, I'm going to go over just a little bit of this dark area. Not much, because we want to keep the integrity of that dark shadow. So just barely go over it, because we will not be going over it again. This is just going to give you the highlighted area of your apple. Now, oh, look at that. Once again, just to make that transition a little better, I'm going over very lightly part of the dark cherry cobbler. Now look at those apples. Don't they look realistic? Just the shading gives you that two-tone, and it really makes you think that the sun is coming in from this area and highlighting the apples. So let's go ahead and color our leaves now. We're simply going to use our old olive to mark over the veins of the leaves. And then we're going to come back in with our light old olive for the rest of the leaf. And that will really just give us that shading that we need to make this leaf not look flat. And I'm trying not to go over those veins again because we don't want to lighten them up. We want to keep them kind of dark. So I'm really just coloring in those white areas. The veins just really show through, giving you that appearance that it's really a leaf. Now we went ahead and we went over using the light soft suede on our branches. So we're just going to pick up a few of those right here. And now we're ready to cut this out and add it to the front of our card. So here's our card. We have our beautiful apple cut out. We're going to add it just like that, and we're going to add it to some dimensionals. And then on the inside, we're going to add another map, and we're going to stamp some apples on this one as well. So let's bring in our paper. You always want to have paper down when you're using blends because it will bleed through the paper. So let's go ahead and stamp some apples. And notice I stamped off just a little bit. And we're going to color those as well. And now we're just going to add this to the inside of our card. And see, you can see where it bleeds on the back. That just shows that you've really worked hard to get it colored. So make sure that you always keep some paper down so that it doesn't bleed onto your design table. Now look at these two very different cards. I love the style of this die set. Oh my goodness, this one is so beautiful, but so is this one. And remember, when you get this, not only can you use it as a die set, but you can use it as a stencil. Well, thank you so much for sharing your time with us. We hope that you enjoyed this die set. We love it when they have double duty. They can be used as a die or they can be used as a stencil. We hope that you go out, make it a fantastic day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.